Imagine downloading a game that promises hours of fun for free. Sounds perfect, right? But what if I told you that free game might cost you more than the $60 blockbuster sitting on store shelves? More money, more time, even your personal data. All gone before you know it. Free-to-play games made over $100 billion last year. But here's the kicker, you helped pay for it. You just didn't see the price tag. Today, I'm pulling back the curtain on the real cost of free games. From sneaky monetization tactics to the psychology behind why you keep spending, I'm exposing the industry secrets that developers don't want you to know. By the end of this video, you'll never look at free games the same way again. Free games, they're everywhere. No upfront cost, no commitment. It feels like the ultimate deal. But why do you keep going back? And why does it sometimes feel impossible to stop? Let's start with the basics. These games hook you with a simple promise: accessibility. No barriers, no price tag, just instant fun. And that's powerful. You're more likely to try something when there's no risk involved. But here's where it gets interesting. It's not just about the $0 price tag. Developers use sophisticated psychological techniques to keep you playing and spending. Take FOMO, for example, the fear of missing out. Ever seen a limited time skin in Fortnite or a pop-up saying, "Only 3 hours left to unlock this reward"? That's no coincidence. It's designed to make you act fast, even if you're unsure. And let's be honest, who hasn't given in at least once? Then there's the grind. Games like Genshin Impact keep you engaged by making progress just slow enough to frustrate you, but fast enough to keep you hooked. You could spend hours farming resources, or just a few bucks to skip the hassle. And suddenly, it's not so free anymore, is it? And let's not forget randomness. Loot boxes, gacha mechanics. That thrilling moment when you roll for a rare item. It's not luck, it's psychology. Developers know that unpredictable rewards trigger a dopamine hit, the same way slot machines do. And before you know it, you're chasing that high one microtransaction at a time. This isn't accidental. Every mechanic, every design choice is calculated to keep you in the game. And now that you know how they hook you, let's take a closer look at how they make their money. So, you've been hooked. Now comes the real game, not what's on your screen, but the one developers are playing with your wallet. First, let's talk about in-app purchases, the bread and butter of free-to-play games. Think of skins, power-ups, or in-game currency. These might seem harmless, just 99 cents here, maybe $4.99 there, but those tiny charges add up fast. In fact, microtransactions alone brought in over $60 billion globally in 2021. And that number's still climbing. But it doesn't stop there. Developers have refined these purchases into an art form. Ever notice how games like Fortnite or League of Legends focus on cosmetics? Skins, emotes, flashy animations, they don't affect gameplay at all. Yet they rake in millions. Why? Because they're selling status, identity, even community. You're not just buying a skin. You're buying how others see you in the game. And then there's advertising. You've probably seen those incentivized ads. Watch a 30-second video to earn some free gems or coins. Seems like a win-win, right? You get rewards, the developer gets a revenue. But here's the catch. Every ad you watch feeds data to advertisers who then target you even better. And if you're not watching, no problem. Some games sneak in non-intrusive ads like banners or product placements that you don't even notice. Next up, subscriptions. Battle passes, premium memberships, VIP perks, call them what you want, but they're genius. By paying monthly, you feel invested. And because these passes unlock rewards over time, you're more likely to keep playing just to get your money's worth. Games like Call of Duty, Warzone have perfected this, creating a predictable cash flow from millions of players. But the most controversial of all, loot boxes and gacha mechanics. These are essentially virtual slot machines, where you pay for a chance to get something rare. It's addictive by design, tapping into the same brain chemistry as gambling. That's why loot boxes have been banned in countries like Belgium. They're too effective. And here's the kicker. None of this would work without one key ingredient: data. Developers track every move you make, what you buy, how often you play, even how long you hesitate on a purchase screen. This data doesn't just improve the game, it optimizes how to make you spend more. So, the next time you're scrolling through a free game store, ask yourself, are you playing the game, or is the game playing you? Have you ever sat down to play a game for just a few minutes, only to look up and realize hours have passed? That's not an accident. Free-to-play games aren't just designed to entertain. They're designed to keep you coming back, no matter the cost. Let's start with one of the most powerful tools in their arsenal: intermittent rewards. It's the same principle that makes slot machines so addictive. You never know exactly when you'll win, so you keep trying, hoping the next roll, the next loot box, will deliver something amazing. And every time it doesn't, that tiny disappointment fuels your need to try again. Think about it. Would Genshin Impact be as successful without its gacha mechanics? Players spend real money just for the chance to unlock their favorite characters. And when they don't, that loss only makes the next roll feel more urgent. It's a cycle, a carefully crafted one. Then there's artificial scarcity, limited time events, rare skins that vanish in 48 hours, exclusive items that scream, "Get this now or never." That's fear of missing out. It's not just a tactic. It's a strategy that preys on your desire to feel included, to have what everyone else has. And it works. But the real psychological toll isn't just in your wallet. It's in your mind. Games are structured to make you feel just frustrated enough to spend money. Take grinding, for example. You're stuck on a level, a boss fight, or waiting for energy to recharge. You could spend hours trying to beat it, or just pay $2.99 to make the problem go away. It's not a choice. It's a pressure point. And don't think developers don't know this. They've mastered what's called the endowed progress effect. Give players a head start, a free reward, a partially completed set of collectibles, and suddenly you feel compelled to finish. After all, you're already halfway there, right? Why stop now? But here's where it gets dark. These tactics don't just cost you money, they cost your peace of mind. Studies have shown that these mechanics can create anxiety, guilt, even addiction. And for some players, the cycle of spending and regret can spiral out of control, leading to financial strain or worse. And yet, these games don't feel predatory. They feel fun, rewarding, even empowering. That's the genius of their design. Every win, every reward, feels like it's your choice, even when it's anything but. So, the next time you're tempted to buy just one more loot box, ask yourself, is this for fun? Or is it because the game wants you to feel like you have no other choice? Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, the money. Free-to-play games might not charge you up front, but they're quietly draining your wallet. And most of the time, you don't even notice. Here's how it works. A skin here, an extra life there. It's just $1.99, right? But here's the catch. Most players don't stop at one or two purchases. In fact, studies show that the average gamer spends $23.87 per month on in-game content. That might not sound like much, until you realize it adds up to nearly $300 a year. And that's just the average. There's another group that developers call whales. These are the top 10% of players who spend thousands. Yes, thousands. On loot boxes, battle passes, and exclusive items. Games like Genshin Impact have made over $3 billion, fueled by these big spenders. But even if you're not a whale, free games have ways to make you spend more than you think. Take battle passes, for example. At first glance, they seem like a great deal. A few bucks for a season of rewards. But those rewards are tied to your playtime. If you don't log in every day, you miss out. So what do? You spend more to speed up progress, or worse, to extend the pass altogether. And then there's the grind. Developers deliberately make certain parts of the game slow and frustrating. Want to unlock that new character? Sure, you can grind for 50 hours, or pay $9.99 to skip ahead. It's not that you're lazy. It's that your time feels more valuable than the money you're spending. Here's the kicker. Most players don't realize how much they're spending until it's too late. A $2 purchase doesn't feel significant. But when you check your account at the end of the month and see $50 gone, that's when it hits you. And for some players, especially younger ones, this can lead to financial stress or even debt. Now compare this to traditional paid games. For $60, you get the whole experience, no hidden costs, no endless grind. Sure, you might buy the occasional DLC, but at least you know what you're paying for up front. Free-to-play games, they turn spending into a constant drip in a nickel and dime operation disguised as fun. So, are free games really cheaper? Or are they just better at hiding the true cost? At this point, you might be wondering, if these tactics are so effective, are they fair? Or does the free-to-play model cross an ethical line? Let's start with the most obvious concern: player manipulation. Developers intentionally design systems that encourage spending not because it's fun, but because it's profitable. Whether it's loot boxes mimicking gambling or FOMO events pushing urgency, these games tap into human psychology to exploit vulnerabilities. And it's not just adults who are affected. Younger players who might not fully understand these tactics are especially at risk. Imagine a teenager with access to their parents' credit card, chasing after a limited edition skin. It's not hard to see how this can spiral out of control. Then there's the issue of privacy. Most free-to-play games collect data: what you buy, how long you play, even how often you check the store. This data is used to fine-tune their monetization strategies, but it's also sold to advertisers. So even if you never spend a cent, you're still paying with your personal information. And yet, developers defend these practices. They argue that microtransactions keep games free for the majority of players. They claim that spending is optional, that players choose to pay. But is it really a choice when the game is designed to make you feel like you have no alternative? Some countries think not. In Belgium and the Netherlands, for example, loot boxes are outright banned because they're considered a form of gambling. Meanwhile, China has strict regulations requiring developers to disclose loot box odds and limit in-game spending for minors. But most regions have no such protections. So where does that leave us? Are these games simply a brilliant business model? Or are they exploiting players under the guise of entertainment? And here's the toughest question of all. If you knew a game was designed to manipulate you, would you still play it? So here's the truth. Free games aren't really free. They're just better at hiding the price tag. Sure, the cost might not be upfront, but it's there. In your time, your wallet, and even your personal data. The question isn't whether these games are fun, because they are. The real question is, at what point does fun become exploitation? Maybe you've felt it. The frustration of grinding for hours. The guilt after spending money you didn't plan to, or the nagging feeling that the game isn't as free as it pretends to be. And now that you know how the system works, what will you do? Will you think twice before buying that loot box? Before clicking on that battle pass, or maybe even before downloading the next free game? Because here's the thing, if we keep playing without questioning, if we keep spending without limits, this business model will only grow stronger, more manipulative, more invasive. But if we start asking questions, demanding transparency, and supporting games that respect players, we can change this industry. We can make gaming better for everyone. So, what do you think? Are free games worth the hidden cost? Or is it time to redefine what we're willing to pay for fun?